So we mentioned President Biden turning 81 years old today. It's his birthday. He'll be the oldest president in American history to run for re-election, celebrating the milestone privately with his family later this week in Nantucket. He's also ringing in the birthday with his lowest approval ratings yet. These new polling numbers out of NBC showing Biden with 40% approval, also showing him for the first time trailing by 2 percentage points Donald Trump in the race for president, who's, of course, 4 years younger than him. So let's talk about all of this with our panel. May Mailman, the Republican strategist, a former Trump White House associate counsel. Kurt Bardella is with us. Kurt, now a Democratic strategist, LA Times contributor. So welcome both. I don't know that this is the birthday present, right, that the president was looking for. I'll let you take it on there first, Kurt. These poll numbers are rough, and he's got some issues, especially with the younger voters. Did you see those 18 to 34 numbers?
I did. And again, there's no denying the polls aren't good. And let's just be very clear here. They're not going to be good. I mean, we are at a point now where voters understand both whether it's Joe Biden or Donald Trump, both have historically high unapproval ratings, disapproval ratings. And that's just going to be the case going forward. What really matters, the only metric I think that actually matters, is the poll that's conducted on Election Day. And what we have seen in recent elections is that despite the president's approval ratings, Democrats are thriving. Democrats are winning in places like Virginia. They're winning ballot initiatives in places like Ohio. They're taking back states that really shouldn't even be in play right now, but they're succeeding. Look at Kentucky. It's as red as it gets there, and a Democrat governor got reelected there. So it should be very concerning to Republicans that with an economy that voters aren't really feeling good about, with the president with historically high disapproval ratings, that they can't get the job done and they can't win.
But he does have an issue, again, on one big issue, which is the war, foreign policy, and one big group, younger voters, which is a key constituency. So let me just put up a few of these from the NBC poll on his handling of foreign policy, okay? President Biden handling of foreign policy, 33% approve. That's down 8% from September. 62% disapprove, up 9% from September. Then let's go with young voters, but in the head-to-head matchup with Trump, we looked earlier at his young voter numbers, which are brutal, but 18 to 34 in Biden versus Trump, it's Trump 46 and Biden 42, made with young voters, which is not, you wouldn't think, a constituency for any Republican, but especially Donald Trump. And here he is ahead of Biden. These young voters, the question would be for me, all right, it's one thing if you don't approve of President Biden, but are you actually going to vote for Donald Trump instead? And according to that poll, some would. What do you make of it?
Yeah, it's a good question. So a lot of Biden's unpopularity on his foreign policy actually just mirrors his general unpopularity. So yes, it's a 33% approval rating, but he's, 38% on the economy. He's 40% generally. So it's hard to say whether this is really driven by his approach to Israel or whether it is sort of reflective of people's dislike of Biden generally. And then with young voters, they're basically exactly the same. They, have a 30% approval rating of Biden and similar for his foreign policy. But they care about the economy. They can't afford anything. They can't afford rent. They feel irritated about their student loans. They just don't have a good sense of their future. Versus the sense on the economy during the Trump years. Of course, a lot of these students, young people maybe didn't vote or were too young to vote. But there is a sense, because it is actuality, that financially people were better off. And that primarily affects young people.
That's interesting, because if you're right, that helps Trump in a big way if they're doing it on the economy. If they're just angry about the war, and maybe they stay home, but I doubt that they move over to Trump. Thanks so much for watching. Just go to joinnn.com to find News Nation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of News Nation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.